Hi everybody, I'm here today with these two guys to talk about a project that is very near and dear to our hearts. You may recognize two of us if you like reseller YouTube content, but if you don't, my name is Melinda. Together with my husband, we are resellers out of Michigan and we make up Hustlin' Hooks. I'm also 1/3 of the Flipped team, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through and talk about some of the key features of that app. But first, let's do a little introduction of ourselves.
Shane, you go first.
Hey, I'm Shane. I'm the technical side of this partnership, so I kind of write all the code and kind of make sure the app is running well and secure.
My name is Adine. With Melinda, I'm the other half of Hustlin' Hooks. And before we get into a bit about Flipped, the app, and talk about some of the most frequently asked questions, we want to just talk a little bit about how we met, because I think it's super important and something that I've been talking about for a long time. So I found at this time, Melinda and I were kind of flipping whatever.
Yes.
So we were just buying and selling pots and pans and video games and collectibles, and whatever we found valuable, we flipped it. And so one of the sources we always look at is Facebook Marketplace, because people like Shane love to undervalue their goods, and we love to come in, buy them, and flip them for profit. So that's what we did. He was selling a Nintendo Wii bundle. I asked the common questions. I said, "Yep, I'll, whenever you're available, I'm ready to buy." Shane answered. We show up.
So we pull up to this beautiful home, and we have, I think we were in a Cadillac at that time, which is kind of a hoopty.
I love that. I just sold it.
Yeah, Dean gets out. He's got his sweatpants on, the same white t-shirt he probably rolled out of bed in.
Yep.
And I remember specifically because I got a picture of him coming out of the door, because I was like, this is ridiculous. I was probably who did I let into my house?
I think that's when I locked the doors and turned the lights on. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't have that item for sale. So I show up, all the lights are off, no one's home. I'm kidding. So the awesome part is Shane walks me in. He has the whole Wii system set up, and of all the scams on reselling, I've always only been scammed locally, never on eBay or on Poshmark. So he's like, yeah, you can test it. I was like, listen, you say it works, it's fine.
I think I still plugged it in for you.
Yeah, you did.
I just wanted to, I did all the work to set it up. I wanted to show it to you that it worked.
Yeah, and so I was like, great, I think he was asking $40. I think there was a couple of games that are worth like 20 a piece, so it was pretty easy flip. And then Shane asked me, he's like, what do you do? And I'm like,
wow, I didn't realize how much you ripped me off until this moment.
I know. I think on that transaction, I made like $60 off you. So I owe you a dinner, maybe a beer. So Shane asked, and this is why I think it's really important to tell people what you do when they ask, because you never know, a year and a half down the line, you're going to be building an app with someone that you bought a Wii from. So I told him, hey, I resell, gave him the speech of if you have more stuff, let me know, and I'll come buy more stuff. And
for some reason, you let him come back.
Yeah.
You probably felt bad for us. Well, I'm a Cadillac.
Yeah. He looked out the window. The exhaust was falling off. No, just kidding. Yeah, and that's literally how it started. And then the next time I came by,
we had a small conversation about it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, or was it that time or the next time?
It was the next time.
The next time, because you said your father or your father-in-law had a old baseball card that you thought maybe worth money, and I was like, I don't know anything about it, but I know a guy. Just like on Pawn Stars, let me call my guy. He knows. But the next time I showed up and we talked, and I was like, well, he asked me, I should ask him. So I asked Shane, and I was like, Shane, what do you do?
I write software. I'm architecture. I write software. I've been doing it for about 25 years. So,
and
we started talking to that, and your wheels started turning, and then you started talking about the spreadsheet, and my wheels started turning, and then
it was so hilarious because he's talking I'm in software, I've been doing this for a long time, an architect, and I'm just I built a spreadsheet, Excel, Microsoft, the sum equals sum formulas. Mm-hmm. And that's what he asked me. He's like, have you thought about turning it into an app? And I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah. And that's how it started, which is pretty crazy. When you think about it, something so zero expectations, walked into someone's house. I've done this, many times before. Most people don't actually let you in their house. So Shane was more than welcome or more than welcoming. And then just to start off a casual conversation, and now working together, it's been a year and a half roughly.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the story of Flip. That's how we started. We'd like to go through and answer some of those most frequently asked questions, just to tell you guys a bit more about the product and what's coming up in the future. So let's jump right into that. Flipped is an app designed by resellers for resellers. Flipped is an app that you need to use daily to keep track of all of your expenses, all of your purchases, and of course all of your sales. So we designed Flipped to be interactive and user-friendly. So all of your transactions when it comes to your full-time or part-time reseller business can be captured in one app. Pull it out, get all your information there. You can change all your statuses as they changed. Of course, you have your unsold status, your listed status, and your sold status. And then the best part is it takes away all the math. It does it all for you, and it cleans it up in a nice monthly report that you can export at any time. So it's really a powerful tool for all resellers, all sizes, to track all of your business expenses and to make your CPA extremely happy at the end of the year because of how organized you are prior to the previous year where you showed up with a bunch of receipts and paperwork. Flipped really came from our early stages on being on social media. So when we were at like 500 followers on Instagram, I was talking to a lot of full-time guys and asking them like, hey, how do you guys track your numbers? And one of them literally told me that they write it on a calendar, which was kind of mind-boggling, especially because they were full-time providing for their family. So at that time, I created a simple spreadsheet. It took me 5 minutes, and I asked, hey, who wants this tool that automatically calculates your net profits? And I sent out 200 templates. From that, I actually built a much better version of it, sold many copies the next year, and then just kept getting better. Then I met Shane, and we talked a little bit about software, and he shared his passion for startups, and then we combined forces and we created Flipped because we wanted to kind of move past the spreadsheet phase and get into a, hey, it's 2023, let's create a product for modern resellers that they can use. It's on their cell phone, on their tablet, and let's get away from sitting behind a desk filling out spreadsheets all day. Flipped is excellent for beginners, especially excellent for beginners because it breaks down every single transaction in detail. So you buy something for $5, you know it's worth around 50. Let's say you take an offer for 45. You enter that information into the Flipped app. Your cost of goods is covered. You enter your sales price. The automatic fees are right there for you. And then of course you populate the shipping cost if you paid for shipping, and you get a net profit per transaction. Now, it's extremely useful for people who are new at reselling because they can evaluate what items are worth their time, what items are not worth their time, because when we all get started, I remember this too, it's like, yeah, this thing sells great, I'm gonna pay 20 bucks for it and sell it for 30. And then realizing later, it's like, wait a minute, I made $1 off of this transaction. Was it really worth my time? So especially good for beginners, great for people who struggle with numbers or are not so confident with math, and especially great for all levels past beginner. The great thing about Flipped is that you can import your data regardless of where it generated from, regardless of how old it is, rather than just starting from scratch. Now, if you are a total beginner, you just found your first item at a garage sale, great. Grab the app, grab the item, take a picture for reference, type in a short description of it, put in all of the relevant information. When did you get it? How much did you pay for it? Where did you list it? And then once it sells, of course, you would mark it as sold, and again, it would automatically calculate all of your numbers. As far as importing, it's wonderful because if you've been reselling since 2015 and you have all these random spreadsheets because you used software 1 and software 2 and software 3, and then you use these guys and those guys, you can actually put all that information in our super easy template that you can find right on our website or right on Flipped. Put it in a template, 3 clicks away, it'll import it in the background, typically within 2 minutes, and you'll have all of your data. So if you really want to know how you've improved year after year, going back to 2015, you can do that. And literally, if this is your first time flipping something, you can start from scratch. So absolutely, you can import data, and I love that feature. One of my favorite features about Flipped is the report screen. The report screen is awesome because right at the top you can see all of your metrics, all of your numbers month by month and also year to date. So you can see how you're trending for the year, or you can look at a specific month and see how many sales you made, what your cost of goods were, what your expenses were, your mileage in the mileage tracker, etc. You scroll down just a little bit, you can take a look at the pie chart that explains where you are selling most of your stuff at. And then you can also look at the categories that you're selling most of. And it's another tool that can help you evaluate your business and see, well, what am I actually selling most of? What platforms are working out the best for me? This way I can make decisions not based off of feelings, but based off of actual data. And I love the fact that you can export that as well, break it all down, and again, present it to your CPA at the end of the year for tax reasons. And they'll know exactly what they're looking for because it's formatted perfectly.
The Flipped app can be for full-time resellers or part-time resellers. What's great about the app is that once you input your information, it's really tailored to you. So the metrics and all of those numbers will be based off of your total listings, and it goes from there. So if you're a casual reseller on the side, you just like to go to garage sales on the weekends, that's great. It'll still track your numbers. That's what it's designed to do. And all of those are going to be custom to you. So if you have 1,000, 4,000 listings, you can always search for your item to mark it sold. Flipped can really handle any level of reseller, and that's what's great about it. Flipped is only $9.99 a month. And when you break that down, even if you're a casual reseller, you only need to sell one item a month. That's one pair of just your regular basic Levi's. You just have to sell one pair of those and you're covered. It's a lot cheaper than other software options out there. And honestly, in the time it's going to save you alone is priceless. You're gonna earn that back tenfold. When I was entering things into a spreadsheet line by line, I could spend up to an hour every single morning. And now it's just a couple clicks. It's right on your phone. I can do it when I'm waiting in line at the grocery store. It's definitely worth it. And you get the first 7 days free, so you can get in there, check it out, and see how it's gonna work for you. 3 features that I love about the Flipped app are the aging inventory tool, the death pile analysis tool, and the seller metrics bar. These 3 combined are great to use because they give you an overview of the health of your business with the seller metrics bar, which was designed by a mathematician out of Georgia, the country. So, I mean, this isn't just a simple tool. We took together a lot of factors. We really considered how to judge someone and how their business is doing and break it down into a really easy, readable, visually pleasing format. So it's right at your fingertips, and that can tell you, hey, yes, I am trending in the right direction with my business. I'm moving more towards having more items listed and selling than sitting and waiting, which is where the death pile analysis comes in. You have a quick view right at your fingertips of items that have been sitting way too long. We've all been there. We know this is a pain point for resellers, and you can see them right there. And then of course the aging inventory tool that will pull up, and you can see right at a glance that you have items that have been sitting for way too long. We've used this tool. We've pulled items that have been sitting, we've retaken their photos, and they've sold within the next week. So these are a group that really make a powerhouse team for you to use as a reseller to take your business to the next level. Flipped is absolutely a business expense. It's a tool that you use specifically for your business. So all of those $9.99 per month subscription fees, you can write off at the end of the year on your taxes. And it also tracks other business expenses for you. So come tax time, you can just export that data and it's all right there for you. Hands down, one of the best features about the Flipped app is, in my opinion, the death pile analysis. We're the only app that shines a light on this area that is a huge pain point for most, if not all, resellers. We have all been there. We get the item, we're psyched, we're gonna sell it, it's gonna be great, we're gonna make a lot of money, and then it comes home and it sits in your garage, it sits in your basement, it sits in your spare room, and you kind of just forget about it at some point. But with the Flipped app, because you've put it into your phone, it's gonna sit there and it's gonna stare you down every single day and tell you that you have this much money into it and you're losing this much money by not selling it. So if money does not motivate you as a reseller, then this is not the right app, but it's also probably not the right area for you to be making money in, because it motivates me. If I can see that I spent $50 on an item and I'm gonna make 200 if I get it listed, yeah, I'm gonna walk down to my basement, I'm gonna take a couple photos and I'm gonna put it up. So this is the only app that will help you get a handle on that death pile.
Flipped is definitely secure and safe to use. Every user has their own unique login so they can authenticate and only see the data that they have access to. All of your data is encrypted at rest in our database, and it's what's called encrypted in transit. So when it's going from the phone to the cloud, it's also encrypted. So we take security very seriously. So because your subscriptions are with Apple or Android, all of that personal information, credit card information, addresses, any of that, the Flipped app doesn't see any of that. That is all handled between you and Apple and you and Android. So you're very safe there. So how can you access your data? You own your data, whether you're importing it into the Flipped app or exporting out. We're never gonna like hold your data so you can't get it out of systems. I know that I've seen systems like that you kind of feel like you feel obligated to kind of stay with them forever. We're not like that. You can always get your inventory data, your expense data, your financial reporting data out of the system. Subscriptions are between you and Apple or Android, depending on your platform. You can share a subscription for Apple, for example. So say you have an iPad, an iPhone, and a computer, and you use your Apple ID on any one of those. You can use your login for all three. It's one single subscription regardless of the device. But say you and your partner, you have a different Apple ID. Subscriptions are unique to those Apple IDs or those Android IDs. However, you can still share that subscription if you are part of the family sharing plan. There's some steps you need to take to kind of enable that. So you share those purchases, you share that subscription, but you can use the same subscription within the same family. One thing to note, Apple and Android, these are two different universes, two separate stores. If you had a scenario where you had, the app on Android and the app on Apple, you could not share those. That's not something we control. That's between Apple and Android. So that's one thing that we can't do. That's something we will explore in the future when we release our web version. Just kind of little, we might be able to kind of bridge that gap a little bit. But for now, those are kind of separate worlds. You can't share them. One of my favorite Flipped features is probably the profit calculator. So you can, if you're out kind of shopping, hunting for that next bargain, you can kind of quickly flip out the app, and check out, what the shipping costs, what your potential profit might be, the platform fees. We have the fees in there, so you get a quick glance and to make a decision whether this is going to be a good deal and you should purchase this item or not. Another cool ability is the app can do offline. So you don't always have to have an internet or cellular connection. So say you're hunting for a deal and you go into somebody's basement because it's an estate sale and there's not very good internet connection with your phone. You can still take all those photos, capture and add those inventory items, capture expenses all offline, even if you're not connected to the internet. And then once you drive away and leave and you reconnect to the internet, your phone does, it'll sync all that up behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about any of it. I love that feature. The Flipped app is currently available in the US and Canada and on the Apple App Store and the Android App Store. We're considering new territories as well in the future, and we're also working on a web version of the app.
We've answered a lot of questions about the current state of the Flipped app, but what's exciting is that this is the very early stages. there's unlimited possibilities ahead of us. And we want to talk a little bit about that. What is the future of Flipped?
Yeah, we felt like we've built kind of the foundation of the house, but now we want to start adding those features that are really going to save you time and be compelling and just have everything automatically work for you. The less effort from you, the better. Have the app do as much work as we can make it.
Right.
Yeah, it's all tailored to resellers, right? That's why we specifically are building it as resellers. Like, what are all the features that we want that solve all of our problems, which will then solve all of your problems at the same time? That's kind of the way we looked at it from the start. And like Shane mentioned, we have a really strong foundation now. A lot of those small bugs are out. It's secure, it's safe, it's functional. We've had zero, it's on fire, it's gonna fail, it's crashing, it's not working for anyone, which is really great, and we want to obviously keep that going. But we'll start off, Shane, let's talk a little bit first about integrating to platforms like eBay automatically and getting that information harvested.
Yep, that's one of the things that's on the roadmap is integration with all those platforms. Probably start with eBay because that's the most popular. So integration, whether that might be creating an item, an inventory item in the app and pushing it out to eBay, or going the other direction, pulling it down and syncing from eBay, and so you don't have to do a lot of that typing as well. Another feature that I'm really excited about because it's kind of something I'm passionate about is AI. There's a category of AI called generative AI that's really exciting and really hot right now. You've probably heard, but things like you take a picture of the image and it extracts what's in that image and fills out your title for you. Maybe it kind of figures out what a good price point to suggest would be, or vice versa. Maybe you enter the title of something and it'll kind of generate an image for you if you didn't capture something. Generating store listings, all kinds of interesting use cases, pulling out insights from all your data with AI to kind of figure out, what action items you should take, what's interesting about what you have going on.
Yeah, that technology is so new that it's kind of, we're almost at the forefront of that with AI and figuring out how to use that to the best of our abilities.
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
And then also, like, what are we doing with the data, right? So let's say you have thousands of listings, thousands of sales, years of data. How can we take your data and work it as a tool for you so you can actually learn about your business and take action? So it's not just like, this is how much I sold, this is my net profit, cool. Here you go, CPA guy. It's like, no, let's actually learn from it. So that seller metrics bar that was designed by a PhD mathematician, that algorithm, we want to do things like that where we can take that information, that's your information, tailor it custom to you and say like, what can I actually do to make my business better, to make more money, to work less? That's always the goal. That's what we're trying to do, hint, hint, right? So if we can solve that for us with our information, how can we incorporate that into Flip, and how can that save you time and money and accelerate your growth?
And we know, like, tracking all those numbers and all the accounting work, that's not the fun side of the business. The fun side is the hunt, finding that item and then flip it and being all excited because you got 5-star rating for your return on investment for that particular item. That's where the fun is, not the accounting side. So we want the app to kind of do that work for you.
Yeah. Do the accounting side. You don't really have to pay attention to it. Here's the fun side. Here's the stuff that I actually have to do as a reseller to be successful, to use a tool to make me successful.
Right. And at the end of the day, give you more time.
Yeah.
Search in the app is very important. So we're putting a lot of time and investment into making search that much better. So it's going to be, have the speed of Google, but just for your data. We're going to have like counts and filters. You'll be able to filter by all kinds of categories. It'll give you instant counts of how many you have in those categories, or how many are on this platform, or how many are in this state. Are they sold or unlisted? As well as giving you the ability to sort by any. So we want to be able to slice and dice. If you have thousands of records, you'll be able to slice and dice and filter that data really easily to kind of find what you're trying to look for.
The other one that's been asked for by many people is automated way to upload your receipts for expenses. So you spend X amount on your boxes, or you just bought some equipment for your store, whatever it is, take a picture of it. The technology is already out there. We're going to integrate that into Flipped as well, just to make it, again, easier for our users to use it. So that, again, like Shay mentioned, less work from you and more automation in the background.
Yep, and we'll probably start off, we'll probably just, take a picture of that receipt and upload just the image, but we're also kind of exploring actually extracting the data from that receipt, so the cost and everything else, the description. So you just upload the receipt and the data just populates for you.
Fancy. We're also designing a web version of the app as well, so that if you wanted to go onto your laptop or your desktop, you can pull it up there as well. So that's the next step too.
Those are all the things that are on the horizon. We love feedback, and so that one of the other favorite features that I didn't have time for in the solos is the actual in-app chat that every subscriber can use. And even if you're just on trial, you can still use it. Messages, hey, does it do this? How do I do that? Do you have this? Here's a suggestion. All those suggestions we harvest, and then we say, okay, this thing has been asked for many times by many different people. This is something we need to explore. We've also written a ton of articles that explain how things work. And then Shane is also exploring AI right now to help us, help you answer those questions a lot faster and just to redirect your basic questions into those articles and in the future videos so you can actually see it, you can look at it, and you can learn, oh wait, this is actually quite easy to use.
Well, thanks very much for spending time with us today and letting us talk about the Flipped app. We appreciate all our subscribers out there. Again, if you have any issues, you have ideas for new features, we are always ready to kind of, fix a problem or build a new feature to kind of continue to make this thing better. This isn't something we just build and then just kind of let it ride for 2 years. This is every week, every day we're working on this thing. So really appreciate all your feedback.
Definitely. And hopefully that answered most of your questions, but like Shane said, reach out to us if you have more questions. We're always available, and we're always trying to be as quick as possible about responding to everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It means the world to us. Thank you for your support. We've been doing this now for almost 4 years, and we had no idea that one day we're going to have an actual app on the marketplace, and here we are. And like Shane mentioned, it's not just a stop and let it go. It's a continuous improvement all the time. We have tons of features that you guys already heard about us working on, and we look forward to presenting those to you. Thanks again on behalf of the Flip team. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Take care.
Bye-bye.